So as soon as that's done, they will be posted to YouTube as well. But again, this is recorded. So as soon as this is done and throughout the course of the week, this will be posted on YouTube, our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, search MyRacePass, and you can find all of the information there. All of the previous year's webinars are there, and these will be on there as well here in the coming days. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. We're going to start, again, this is a web management special session here, special webinar for website information here. So I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to start with news articles. The first thing I will do is present my screen. And we will start at your favorite track. That's the demo environment for all the track. So for all of our information, it's not a live environment, but it works just the same as your guys's. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to add news articles. So there's a news tab right over here. We can click on news. There is one thing that I'd like to show you before we jump too far in here. Because of the power of the MyRacePass network, if someone else, whether that be a driver or a series or whatever, another racetrack, another sanctioning body, writes an article and tags you in it, I'm going to show you what happens using one of my employers, Jackson Motorplex here. Shows up pop-up window by default here. You can see it right away. Tri-State Late Models wrote an article about Jackson Motorplex. Now, if I'm logging in as Jackson Motorplex, I have the option to add this to my news tab or not. I can either add the selected or dismiss the selected. I don't want to do any of those things right now. But you just have that ability, and that's one of the things that we always say. You always see in our branding the power of the MyRacePass network. That's one of the ways in which what happens. Obviously, the results information for all of those shows that are at your racetrack or part of your series are automatically going to be pushed. Same with news articles. We have the option to push those everywhere as well. So I can write an article, post-race article when a race gets done. I can tag every driver that I mentioned in the article, the series that was there, or if I'm writing for a series, the racetrack that I was at, and it can instantly be shared to 5 or 6 different profiles and websites at the same time. That's kind of a nice thing. We're going to jump in here and show you basically just how to get started in this. I'll add a new news article here. And a lot of these tools are pretty straightforward. I'll kind of give you some of the best practices that I use. I write post-race PR for the series that I work for, so I'm hands-on on all of these things all the time, even outside of the day job here. News heading, obviously pretty self-explanatory stuff. For instance, if it's your 2021 schedule announcement, schedule announced for 2021, something like that, or if it's a post-race recap, so-and-so driver wins at the series' first trip to whatever racetrack. Obviously it's a heading. It's the subject line of an email is kind of what I like to call it. The date that you want it to be published on, more often than not, I'll choose the current day, things of that nature. There's a credit that you can use here, and you can put in different credits. If you want to put in a different credit for a different article publisher, send that information to us, and we can add those credits. But you can also click the new credit button here and add a credit name. So if somebody's writing the article and you want to give them credit, or you want to have something like that there, you can do it that way, or you can submit it as the administrator as well. Body of the news article, fairly self-explanatory. There is one thing that I'll tell you about. There's the one thing that I'll tell you about writing these that I really recommend that you follow because of a just-in-case scenario. I always write my news articles in Word. I know I'm representing MyRacePass. Why wouldn't I write it in MyRacePass? Well, laptop's internet card goes down. The racetrack's internet goes out. Something like that. You've lost all your work right here. Write it in Word. That doesn't happen. Your work is still there. When you get back to having internet, you can copy and paste it into the body section here. There's more formatting tools in Word, and those formatting tools get copied over pretty well also. So if you're writing news articles, I really recommend to write it in Word and then copy and paste it into here. And that'll serve you much more well, because you just it'll probably never be an issue for you, but the one time that it is an issue where you lose internet or something goes down or your browser crashes or Chrome decides, hey, I'm going to do an update right now, and you lose all your work, and all it takes is once to really frustrate you. So definitely write it in Word first. Article media, you can click to add media here. I'll show you all of these galleries and all of the options that go with it, but you can choose a picture from any one of your previous galleries. You know, that you got, so things that you've uploaded and used previously, you can do that there. Or you can choose recently used for things that you've recently used if you want to reuse one. If you've got a picture that you've uploaded that's not part of a gallery, you can use that. You can find those here, or you can upload something new. Upload new, choose the gallery you want it to be a part of, or no gallery. Again, sub gallery, or you can create a new gallery right here, and you can upload all those things there. For our purposes right here, when we go to article media, I saw that there was a really good one in here. I'll choose this one here. Perfect. When you select an image, this is your opportunity to tag the image. This is not tagging the article. This is tagging this specific image. So if this was an image of a legitimately talented race car driver, we would tag the driver right here. Or if this is an image of a series champion, you can tag the series here. However you want to tag it, you can do that. And there you go. We've selected an image that we want to be a part of our article. Perfect. In terms of tagging the article, this is where you would do that here, right next to the body here. So if I'm writing a race recap for a wing sprint car event, I'll tag wing sprint cars. We'll say, for instance, Lee Gross won the event we're racing in. There we go. You can tag many tracks, one track. You can tag many drivers or one driver. You can tag many series or one series, whatever you'd like to do. That way you can tag however many things you'd like. If you want this to be associated with a specific event on your schedule, you can do that here. You can go through your schedule, pick one specific event. Okay, now in the tags list, and this is important in the app because when the fans go through the app and they look at this event, now there's a write-up or a news article related to that event. Again, class, sponsor, you can tag as many things as you like. The sponsor field is a little bit unique because we don't have a built set list of sponsors. So you can just type whatever you want in the sponsor list or in the miscellaneous list, and it will tag whatever you type in there. There's no drop-down list to choose from like there is for classes or sponsors or whatever else. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But once you got an image, once you got all of the tags the way you want them, the articles the way you want it, you can do a couple of different things. You can either save it for later, so basically it won't be published. You can still come back and edit it. Or you can preview it. There's two blue buttons. They both preview the same thing. So they go through, they preview it. There's our image. There's our type of racing. There's our tags. There's the entire article. And then you can publish it from here. When you publish a news article, there's a couple of options here that you can. Let me actually publish this here. Once it's published, there's a couple of things that you can look at here. You can go back and edit the news article. So we can come back and edit the body and the heading and all those things if you proofreading marks that you need to change or things of that nature. You can make it active or inactive, which pretty self-explanatory. If it's active, fans can read it on your website. If it's inactive, they can't read it. Featured news, and I will kind of show you an example here. On the home page of your website, there's a number of news articles that show up there by default. Those are featured news. So if you make it featured, it will show up on your homepage, or the 5 most recent things, or 3 for some websites. It's different for every website, but usually 3 or 5. The 3 or 5 most recent articles that you have made featured will show up here on your homepage, and everything that's not featured, fans will navigate to news, and they'll be able to see it there in news. So that's the difference between featured or unfeatured. You can also share this directly to your social medias right here, adding your Twitter and Facebook accounts, and then you'll be able to see how many views you've got. One thing that I'll have you keep in mind as well, the views here don't calculate in real time. There's like a 30-minute running update on that. So what you're seeing for views might not be 100% accurate, but it'll be accurate past, to the last 30 minutes or so. You can also re-tag or edit your tags after you publish the article. You can do that right down here, and you can, add a new image if you'd like as well. So you can do whatever you'd like that way. One thing that I'd like you to keep in mind as well is if you want to make a news article, a featured news article to show up on the homepage, it has to have an image associated with it. If the article doesn't have an image and you make it featured, it will still not show up on your homepage. It has to have an image there to be able to show up there. So keep that in mind as well. If you published an article, you wanted it to show up there, just remember you have to have an image there. Take us back to all news. And again, whoever you tag, they'll have the option to add that to their websites or not, whatever you'd like to do there. You can come to this view right here, and you can, again, make it active or inactive right here. You can view it like this. You can hit the star right here to make it featured or not featured, and then you can delete a news article using this red X here as well. Find news. If you want to search for news, you can search for anything right here. You can search for news for Jackson Motorplex. You'll be able to see news for Jackson Motorplex. So if they have an article that they typed, or another racetrack or driver or series has an article that they typed and they didn't tag you and you know about it, you want to add it to your website, you can search through basically anything that you want here, and add various other news articles to your website. Even if you weren't tagged, you can find them that way. That's kind of a nice option as well in finding news. That was a pretty short synopsis of news in MyRacePass and adding news and those types of things. I know Chris has been in there answering some questions. Does anybody have any questions they want to shout out here before they look forward?
Hey, Austin, I want to add one quick thing to that too. If, as I mentioned in the comments here, you are able to add your news still. For those of you who are just using race management, you can still add news to your profile. And that's important because you want to tell your fans to favorite your profile in the MyRacePass app, because now when you do post news articles, they'll get push notifications for those. So if you post a recap and a fan favorites the app profile of your racetrack, they'll get notified that there's a news article. They click it, it goes right to the app. So it's an incredible marketing tool in that aspect. And then also with the tagging too, that's a very powerful tool that we just really can't emphasize enough how much use it's going to be for you guys to tag as many people as you can, and have your content show up in profiles and MyRacePass app and then the websites too. So even if you're just using race management, you don't have a website through us, you can still use that news and have that information show up there.
Absolutely, thank you, Chris. So that's news articles in a nutshell, and you know what goes on there. A lot of tracks and drivers are getting to the point where they're hiring PR guys to do this stuff too. So you're going to see a lot of instances where a PR guy is added as an admin to your racetrack or your driver or whatever else writing articles for you. So keep in mind that that's an option as well. We're going to jump into media next. You can see whether you access the news tab or you access web management, you have this new list of tabs across the top of the screen. One of them is media. So I'm going to take you through photos and videos and things of that nature. We'll start with photos. You'll be able to see the current galleries that exist. And galleries, I'll kind of show you here on the Midwest Power Series site when you go to photos. Galleries are a way to separate your photos into different groupings as opposed to just having a giant list of photos. So I have 13 photos in this gallery and 13 photos in this gallery and things of that nature. So that's what a gallery does for you. You can make them active or inactive if you want to show them live or not right here. So these are the current galleries that exist. When I go to 2020, there's a little how-to reminder for sharing data or sharing images and stuff like that. These are the images that are part of the gallery right here. You can delete the gallery or delete everything in it along with the gallery, and then you can re-tag the items that you select in the gallery as well. So those are definitely things to keep in mind. If I select a picture and I hit captions, I can caption each picture in the gallery. I can title it and caption it, whatever you'd like it to be. So when fans go to your website, they can see everything that's in there as well. Or you can merge things together as well here with this merge tool if you want to merge tags in some of these images. We'll go back to all galleries here. You can add a new gallery over here. Or you can, this filtering option here is just basically a way to search through the galleries to find information. And then down here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see other media with miscellaneous. Those are all of the random photos that you've got that have not been added to a gallery. So that's a way to manage your photos and manage your photo galleries as well, right here. So if I click it through here, test, you want to add a photo to this gallery. It's really simple. You press the add button. You can upload a new photo, or you can, again, go through miscellaneous or some of the other galleries. If you want to add a photo that already exists within the management tool here to this gallery, but uploading it fairly simple. You can go to your file explorer, and you can select a file to upload or click and drag something over there. Let's see if I have anything. There we go. Perfect. Oh, it's the wrong file type. What a bummer deal that is. So I'll drag this one over. Here's be the wrong. Oh no, I did get in there. Perfect. Okay, there we go. We uploaded our file. Again, you can separate it by type. That's the type of racing that you're doing, whether it's boats or monster trucks or karting or vintage or midgets or whatever. I mean, basically any kind of car that you've got in here, you can select the type. So make this modified. If you want to tag a driver, if your image is of a specific driver, you can search for them this way, or you can just start typing their name in the box here. Perfect. Track, again, works the same way. Series will work the same way. I mean, a lot of these things, a lot of these tools obviously will work the same way every time. Event, you hit the search button and you find the specific event that you want to add this for as well. You can search by date or by schedule. Again, that's similar to other options here. Or the class, you want to put in a specific class, MyRacePass 360 sprints, whatever else. And these will use your class name overrides when you're doing class here as well. So if your classes are titled different things or whatever else, this will be added in that class finder as well. So you can apply those tags. Perfect. Tags are added. And now you've got a new photo added here. Again, because of the file type issue, I used one of the wrong file types, so nothing added for me. But if you've got the right file type, something will work in here for you. Is this really? Yeah. Got JPIF is invalid. Well, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. It has to be a JPEG, a JPG, a PNG, or a .gif. Those are the file types that are accepted. So no PDFs, no JPIFs, no anything like that. These are the file types that are accepted here. And again, once you've got all those uploaded, they show up right on the Photos tab of your website if you've got one. Really easy, simple, and fast. So there's the difference between adding photos and adding videos is photos have to be saved on your machine locally, whereas videos have to be hosted online. So whether you've got like a private YouTube page or something like that, they have to be hosted online. So if I'm going to galleries work the exact same way in videos as they do as photos. But if I'm going to add a video here, I'll upload a new video name and description. And again, it asks for a URL. So you're not going to find a file on your machine. You legitimately have to paste the URL of where you found this video on the internet. So if you've got a video like that you recorded with your own handheld device, then you need to go to YouTube and put it on YouTube, and you can have a private YouTube account, so it's on YouTube, but it's not public for everybody to view or something like that. But you have to have a URL associated with that video, and these are some of the best providers: Ustream, Vimeo, or YouTube. Again, I use YouTube for everything. Easy to do, whatever else, and you can upload it that way. Again, you can add whatever video you'd like to whatever gallery you'd like. It's just a matter of doing what you want to do. The gallery information is over here. You can tag each gallery the same way that you can tag for the images. And again, all the stuff works exactly the same way. You can caption it here as well. New test video, whatever else. All that kind of stuff. The manage files option in media is if you've got a lot of tracks or series have another page on their website for downloads or for attachments or things of that nature. I don't believe I've got one here. I don't think so. No, I do links here instead of downloads. But there's a lot of racetracks out there that'll have downloads. This is a good option for adding them and keeping track of them. So if you want to add a file here, put in the revision date, which can be important because then you can go back and you can make edits to the PDF that you've got uploaded here, and then you can just change the revision date, choose the file, name the file. I don't believe I have a PDF here available, but there we go. There's one. Perfect. Yes. So I have small children, so I can use this Valentine's deal here. Perfect. So you can see, okay, this has been added in the Manage Files area. You can go in and edit things about the file here with this editing window, which basically is just the name or whatever else. You can change the order using that arrow. Brings you to a new tab, actually, it just lets you preview it. This is Valentine's because I have small children. That's why I can use this one. Hey, if you want to make it public or not, things of that nature. And you can manage the files that way. And again, this is if you've got one of the tabs on your website that allows for downloads and things of that nature. I know a lot of racetracks do. I can think off the top of my head a number of them that do. Midwest Power Series doesn't, so I don't have a great example live. But that's just a way to manage those files and things of that nature. I think there was a question about news in here. Yeah, Sam, there's no bulk way to delete all of that stuff. It is a one at a time if you're managing it internally. But Clint does different things with Firethorn sites. So that might be a good question to route through Chris or route through Clint. But if you want to delete news in that news tab, there's no bulk option to do that all in one click. It is individual, X by X as of right now. One of the next things we'll look at is the store option, adding merchandise to the store. There's a lot of options in store for looking up your orders and seeing your customer information and things of that nature. So those are definitely things that you should explore as well, and take a look at those things. Thank you messages, whatever else you can add. A lot of these are our super pages, so unless you have some ability in terms of website design, you're definitely going to filter those questions through us when you want to do those things. But we'll show you the product lookup and just the simple process of adding things to your store. We'll start with our shipping prices here on this page. I already have a method and a shipping type put in. The first thing you're going to do here is add a method. You name your method whatever you want. We named ours USPS ground. It's best to keep these simple. Whatever your method for shipping is, FedEx, USPS, whatever, name it that, and then the provider that's going to be in charge of those shipping methods. There we go. So we've got our method added. It's USPS ground. And then you go and add a shipping type. So you name your shipping type whatever you'd like it to be. We named ours regular. And then once you've got a shipping type added, you can go in and edit it by clicking on the title of it. And here you select the shipping method that you want this to be a part of. USPS ground. You put in your base price, which we put in $4. You put in your additional after the first price, $1. And keep in mind, this isn't like anything in the MyRacePass marketplace or anything like that. This is just a random testing environment that we put random numbers into. So don't read into these numbers or these things. This is just kind of like a good idea as to what to look for here. Select the country. Obviously probably going to be United States more often than not. You select the United States, and then it asks you to select the state that you want this to be associated with. If you put not set, then it will just default to show that that'll be good for all 50 states. So you don't have to go in and put in 50 different methods here. Just put it as not set, and then you put in like a second one if you want to have that for a specific state. If you want to charge more to ship to New York or Maine or whatever, you put in a separate one for that. So there we've got our shipping information put in. Our shipping method for USPS ground is going to cost everybody $4 unless they order more than one thing. Then it's going to be $5 for everything else for all states in the United States. There we go. Perfect. So we've got our shipping method and our shipping type put in. Once those things are are put in there, now we can start dealing with our products individually. So there's a lot of different options here. You can add an item, obviously, each individual item, you'll add an item. You can add a group, so you can group your items into, whatever group, whatever you want to name that group. You can do the same with shirts. You add shirts. You can select whatever you want to do for shirts in terms of adding products there. And again, these are just when you're adding a shirt. There's a lot of different options in here that you want to add your shirts for in terms of what they're related to. If you want to share it on the marketplace, whatever else, there's a lot of things in here. This is another one of the options if you want to do it that way. I definitely recommend to reach out to us because some of these settings are pretty finicky, and doing one thing can unintentionally hurt another thing. You can basically, I would definitely recommend that you reach out to us in order to set this stuff up, especially the first time, because it can be pretty complicated. Question is asked, how do we know if the shipping price is covering the actual price? That's why you have the ability to edit the shipping price. So you find out how much it is to ship. If you're gonna, think of this as you have your own shirts, your own hats, your own whatever else that you have made, and you have a stock of them, and people are buying those from you. This is not the MyRacePass marketplace stuff. This is your own stuff that you're gonna sell. Sam, go to the post office. Say, how much does this weigh? How much does this cost to ship? And they'll tell you. They want to make money too. They'll tell you. I promise you. And then you can come back and put it in here and say, okay, it's going to cost me $5 to ship. I'll charge everybody $5.50 for shipping or whatever, something like that. So that's kind of how you would find that out. You can export the information here as well, the full price list, OEM numbers if you've got those put in there as well. We'll just kind of go through here and adding an item. Some of the steps for adding an item. You name your item. Obviously, that's the product name. You can add a SKU number. This is not a required field, but if you have SKU numbers, think of them as like individual identification numbers or something like that. I forget what SKU stands for, but it's something along those lines. You can put that in there, and then whatever you want the price to be, check if it can be purchased online. If it can't be purchased online, it'll still show up in your store tab, but then they'll put in a link there for them to send you a message for pricing, basically, or an email. Not a message, I should say, an email for pricing. So you'll know that somebody's interested in that item, even if it's not listed for purchase online. And if the product is tax exempt or not, then you can add the product that way. That will eventually bring you to this screen. You can go in and edit all of the information that you just put in there. You can put in some product options, which would include basically sizing information, things of that nature, coloring information, whatever colors you want for options, and just size and color basically. And then some of these are special size. But that's what we're looking for here for product options, so fans can put in individual sizes, individual colors. Related products, if you want to go in and edit this, you can search by SKU number to group products together more efficiently that way as well. Again, if you've got your groups, we place this category t-shirts. If you want to select your shipping method, now of course these are the methods that we put in earlier, so you put in the USPS ground and all of those things. You can do that. You can select this box for free shipping on this item. Sometimes what we see is folks, put in like small items like stickers or koozies or whatever. And now that I'm reading the chat, I see that Chris has already told you exactly what I'm going to tell you here. So it's in there too. But just raise the price a little tiny bit on your regular items, put in free shipping. People get jacked and excited about free shipping, not realizing they're paying $1 or $2 extra for some of those small items like a koozie or a sticker or whatever else. You can make the product active or disabled or whatever else here if you want it to be available to the public or not. And again, some of these items, if there's going to be a sale price, you can put it on sale that way. Shopping cart, whether it's available or not available, basically. And featured items will obviously show at the top of the page ahead of all of your other stuff. You can share a link to this individual item right here. You can also clone the product for a quick creation of your next product as well. So a lot of copying options that are pretty good, and a lot of stuff that's pretty good in the store. Now, there are so many different options in the store here as well. We talked about product categories. You can reach that here, product categories, another fast and easy way to add categories. Product options for each individual product or group, another way to add those same options that we were going through before. Sizes and colors as you see up here. And then the specs for various products. Again, this one's more seldom used, but you can put in individual information if you have some non-traditional products, things that aren't hats and t-shirts and things of that nature. And we can kind of go through those with you as needed if you reach out to us. But that's the store. There's so many little tiny things in the store. I really want to emphasize this. If you're new to the store, you're using the store for the first time, and you're confused on things, reach out to support@myracepass.com, because there's so many different weird little options in the store that sometimes if you make a selection, it can fiddle with a different selection that you made previously. Sometimes getting the shipping stuff right is a little bit weird, so we want to make sure we get the shipping stuff right the first time so your customers can check out at the end, things of that nature. One thing about the store that I will tell you that's similar to registration is that when somebody makes a purchase from the store like this from you, we disperse those, we collect those funds when they check out, and we immediately disperse those funds to you via PayPal. So those that we deposit it directly into PayPal. We don't keep any percentage at all. This is a feature that's built into the program. So we're not taking anything off the top. The only fees you'll have to worry about are PayPal fees. But if you give us the email address associated with your PayPal account, we can link your store tab and that PayPal account, and we can send you that money immediately. So you won't have any wait there. Like, there's not a grace period or a waiting time unless something is implemented by PayPal. Sometimes they put weird holds on stuff, but we do not. That's not coming from us. We send you the money as soon as we get it. If you have any questions at all about the store or utilizing the store or adding things to the store, send me an email, support@myracepass.com, and we'll get to that and we'll answer those questions individually. I think Chris has something here.
Yeah, I was going to emphasize that too. For those that do have a PayPal store through us, if you guys are adding new products for the first time or whenever you add a new product, I always recommend that once it's added, go ahead and test it out on your store. Add to your cart, make sure everything, the shipping goes through, make sure there's a checkout button there for you before you advertise to your fans that there's the store new items there. Because if you go ahead, add it to the store, and then you advertise there's new items there, and then all of a sudden the shipping isn't working, well, then you're gonna have a bit of a cluster there. So just make sure, when you add something new like a hoodie or something like that, go ahead, go onto the front end, test it out, put it in your cart, make sure you can add other items with it too. And if it's not adding up, just shoot us an email. We'll look into it for you. It's more than likely a shipping method is not lining up, because if you do have USPS for one item, you have to have USPS for all your items. The method have to equal up. The pricing can be different, but the methods have to equal up there, or it won't know which one to use and it won't let you check out. So just test things out when you add items to your store, and if it doesn't work out, give us a call before you advertise to your fans that things are on there for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna jump past the merchandising stuff. Again, send me questions if you got any, and we're gonna jump to the social media links. Pretty easy to add right off the jump, because we give you big alerts. If you don't have a Facebook account linked, fix right here. It'll have you log into your Facebook account. Same thing with Twitter right here. Now, if you want to go and edit these later on or whatever else, or add more social media links or things of that nature, I'll show you where to go to do that. It's in our settings, which can be pretty overwhelming to look at it. Look, there's a lot of different things you can click on here in settings. There are so many options, and you don't want to start changing things willy-nilly, but this is where the social links are. Pretty straightforward stuff. This is to manage the social links that show up on your website. So I will go back here, and I'll kind of show you loosely what I'm talking about here. This is a poor example. Like down here, I got Facebook, I got Twitter, I got SprintSource. Or if you go to really any of our other websites, those social media links are kind of what we're talking about here. And of course, I go to that one first. We've got them up here in the header for Jackson. Facebook, Twitter, SprintSource, MyRacePass. So these type of links are what we're editing here. So you just put in the URL and then turn the icon on. If you turn on an icon that's empty, that doesn't have a URL in it, it'll just by default not show anything there. Although we would ask you to refrain from doing so, as back-end data stuff gets weird in that situation, and it kind of sucks to clean up. But so yeah, if these are all the X's by default. You put in your link to your Facebook page, your Twitter page, whatever else. You make it a check mark instead of a red X. And it'll show up right here. Boom. What you want the icon to look like, whatever else. Some of these are design pieces as well. Like you saw the links in the Jackson Motorplex website. It was right in the header. That was a design piece that we did custom. So they actually wouldn't be able to edit the way that it looks. It would just look the way that it does. So keep in mind some of those things. But if yours are buttons like the MyRacePass website where there's just some buttons that are showing up based on what you're turning on, there's a couple of small things that you can do there. The Facebook plugin, if you'll notice this for some racetracks, and I don't have one off the top of my head that I can use as an example right now, but you'll notice for some racetracks, you go to their Facebook page, and there's like all of the different like pages that you can go to. You know, their About tab and, you know, all of those different things that you normally have on a Facebook page. At a certain point, we built this plugin here. We haven't done much with it since, but you can add a MyRacePass plugin to take you to the MyRacePass profile right there in your Facebook page. Chris, do you happen to have one off the top of your head that we could use? I don't have a track that I know uses that.
I think I have a driver that does it. It looks kind of the same. I'm not mistaken. I think maybe not.
Who is it?
I don't think. Oh, actually, you know what? I think we do. Let me go to 141 Speedway here. I know our good friend Jerry Van Sickle. He was really taking advantage of everything we had to offer on that side of things, but I don't know that it's up and running anymore.
Okay.
As far as that plugin goes.
Yeah, there it is. MRP profile.
Yep, there you go. Yep. If you want to go ahead and show them that.
Perfect. Literally, it's just the profile and a link to visit your profile, some news items, whatever else. I mean, just the very standard things that you'd see. So that's what that plugin does, is it puts the MRP profile, you know, right on your Facebook page, so fans can go and find it when they go through your various options there. That's kind of what that is. Those are the social media links and organizing the social media links. The next thing I'll show you is our contact list. You can find that in the Tools tab. This is a good way to organize, you know, things that you're going to be needing for your 1099s, like driver address information and things of that nature. Sometimes you'll have a situation where drivers are going to start sending you that, you know, in paper or whatever else. This is where you can come to manage that information. Check mark means you've got it. Right there. Yellow triangle means you need it. So you type that in right there. It's a good opportunity for you to find that information. I want to, you know, remind everybody that address information is siloed by racetrack. So just because one racetrack has the address information doesn't mean it'll automatically populate everybody else everywhere else. So you're going to need to gather the addresses for the drivers that race at your racetrack. This is a good place to put them in. If they've got a mailing address that's different than the primary address, you know, we've actually turned that function off because you're not sending, you know, big things to them. You're sending a letter. The primary contact information again, right there, and then the emergency contact information and any personal information is shown here as well. So you can put in any of this information. I want to remind you though, registrations will make drivers fill all of this stuff in for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you were in the 5:30 session, you know that at most it takes like 3 minutes, and at best I did it in like 30 seconds because I just registered for more than one thing. So you really want to get in a situation where drivers are registering, because it fills in all of this stuff for you, and you'll never have to worry about it if that driver's registered. And that's really slick and easy and fast and good. And the nice thing about that is that if they registered in 2020 and they moved and they register again in 2021, you're not going to have 2 entries here. You're going to have 1 entry with the most recent information. So you get your drivers to enter. It's going to be a good thing for you, especially at the end of the year, come mailing out 1099 time. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But again, if you do need to make changes or organize this, you can organize it in the entry screen after you've entered a driver at the back gate. You can go in and edit the driver at that point. But between events or something like that, tools and contact list is where you're going to find you know, the place to be able to edit this information. There's a number of other pages that you can manage. I'll kind of give you an example here. Basically just stuff that you can do whatever you want with. We've got an info tab here that we wrote an about section for, about the series, career wins, special events, wins by track, blah, 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 whatever else. You can edit that information under more. And all of these options will be here, but they all won't be turned on. That will largely be that'll largely be decided when you initially create your website, what the design is, what pages you have turned on. Once you got a page turned on, you can go in and you can edit the information right here. So let's see, what should we do? So if you've got a history tab, it shows up like this. I mean, you're going to have some kind of web design ability to be able to do these things if you want to do them on the fly. That's why we definitely recommend that you reach out to us if you want to start adding this information, and we can add it for you. But you can add a list kind of a page, or a paragraph kind of a page, or you can add a section heading. A section heading basically, just how it sounds. When you come over here, wins by track would be a section heading. So you would add that section heading feature, and then you could come back here after you've added the section heading, and after you've added the section heading, you would come in right here, a new section, and then you could add a sample paragraph underneath of it, and you could type whatever you wanted in the paragraph. There's an extra heading that looks a little bit different than this one. You can use some formatting tools like bolding or whatever else. You can add pictures, things of that nature. There's not a lot of editing tools in here, and you'll have to use some of the editing secrets. Obviously, if you type 2 asterisks before and after the text, then it'll bold that text, things of that nature. So again, if you've got that knowledge on how to create some of those things, it's not really coding but formatting that way. You can go ahead and create these, but it's a lot easier to have us do it. We've got a design guy, and we've got people who are web designers and do those things that are really, really, really good at these things. Of course, after you build one of these pages, or after we build one of these pages, you can always come in and edit it. So if you go in here and we put in a bunch of text here for you and copy and pasted it in, and you go in and click the editing button here, you can always go in and edit that information. It's a lot easier to edit it after the fact than it is to create it in advance, though. So that's how you would go in and edit some of those things and manage some of those other pages or those special pages. I also want to take a quick second to talk to you about Dropship Apparel. It's a little bit different than the apparel that we already looked at. Dropship Apparel is when you pay us to design a shirt for you, and we put it in the MRP marketplace, is what it's called. And then so fans, search MyRacePass marketplace. They'll be able to come, to our marketplace and buy your apparel. You can also have the apparel that's in the MRP marketplace listed in your market, but it'll be a lot different because we handle the printing, we handle the shipping. There's no, stock of shirts that you need to have. Now, you can if you want to sell at the racetrack or whatever, but there's nothing like that you need to have. Dropship Apparel is basically you pay us to design a t-shirt for you, or you send us your design for a t-shirt. And then when a fan goes and orders that shirt or buys that shirt, we print it on demand and send it directly to their address. So if you want to have your own shirts and you want to put your own shirts in the store and you want to manage that yourself, and you've got 100 shirts sitting in your basement that you'll mail out when somebody orders, great. If you want us to do the shipping and printing and all that stuff on demand, so there's no minimum order or anything like that, we can do it that way as well. That's the MyRacePass marketplace. Again, those funds are dispersed through PayPal to you, so you don't have to worry about it that way. And then when you come up here to store, you can always look at your orders and go orders lookup, and that will actually show you based on the shirts in the marketplace and the shirts in your own store, what's sold and all those things. I'm pretty cheap, I guess. I don't buy anything, but it's all right there for you as well. So those are kind of some of the things to look at with Dropship Apparel. If you're interested in Dropship Apparel, again, there's no minimum order. You pay us a nominal fee to be in the marketplace. You pay us a nominal fee to design the shirt. There's 3 different shirt design options you can choose from in terms of templates. We'll design the shirt, or you can send us your design. We'll print the shirt when somebody buys it. We'll ship it to them. You don't have to worry about getting your fingers in there as well. That's kind of what Dropship Apparel is, and a lot of people have really taken advantage of it, including myself, actually. So we're coming into it. We got 15 minutes left here in the webinar. I've gone through a lot of things with web management fairly quickly. This is also really the only webinar that we're going to do in this series this year that's going to focus on some of the website management things. So I really want to take an opportunity, if you do have questions, to fire them in. Chris and I are available to answer the questions if you want to do it through the chat, or if you just want to unmute and shout out. Or you can also send them to me if you want to ask me a question individually, support@myracepass.com, and I can answer your questions there as well. So does anybody have anything for me right now? URL to find the cost for Dropship Apparel. How to go to MyRacePass.com. When you go to MyRacePass.com, their products and services are listed here. So you find your promoters and scorers, and it gives you an opportunity to look at all of the different things that we've got available to promoters and scorers, including the apparel option. If you're a driver, same thing. You click on drivers here, and it gives you the opportunity to look at all of the things that we've got available to drivers, including apparel. So that's where you would go to find the costs and the things associated with that. We've talked about in the previous webinars, MyRacePass rewards, to get some money back off your next year's bill, things like scheduling a certain number of events, adding tickets to a certain percentage of the events, having an item in the MRP marketplace also is something that counts towards your $50 reward for the next year's bill. So if you do want to explore the marketplace, just keep in mind that it'll definitely help you out in terms of the rewards as well. All right. So I will take that as any other questions that you have, you'll email to me or to Chris at support@myracepass.com. Sam, you always feel free to reach out to us when you have questions. I'll more than likely be the one you talk to, but Chris is around, and we can answer your questions as well. So the last few times we've done the WSOTA promoters trivia question or secret code or whatever, it's always kind of been like a last minute thing. But I actually thought about this one. This is cool, all right? Tomorrow is my son's 6th birthday. Literally, he's turned 6 tomorrow. He's like as excited as a kid could be because he knows he's getting a lot of cool stuff because he's got a good dad. So what would you get your 6-year-old if he turned 6 tomorrow? If he had a birthday tomorrow, what's the best thing to buy a 6-year-old? Tell me that. Tell me your name. Tell me what track you're from if you're a WSOTA track, and I'll get that information to Callie so you get credit for being here. Send that to me in an email if you would, please, so we can see it. And we'll move on from there. Guys, I really appreciate everybody taking the time, being a part of these webinars. I got kids. I got a family. I know how it is to be away from your kids and family for 1 or 2 hours every night. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for being a part of this. We'll be back on Wednesday. We have 2 more sessions Wednesday, 5:30 and 7:30. And then the subsequent week, next week, we'll have a Monday and a Wednesday there as well. So thanks for taking your time out of this deal. If you have any other questions, shoot me an email, support@myracepass.com or austin.lloyd@myracepass.com. And thanks again, everybody. We'll talk to you Wednesday.